You're listening to the ESU Visiting Writers Series podcast.
Hi, this is Kevin Rabas, and I'm here with jazz luminary Rob Scheps, who is here as part of the Visiting Writers Series in Emporia State. Rob plays March 16th at the Westport Coffee House. Tell me a little bit about that performance.
Well, the venue is in Kansas City, Missouri, right there in the Westport neighborhood. It's a long-time venue. We've been playing jazz shows there for about 20 years, and I think they're older than that. So the show is 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Kevin, it's 2 sets, and it's all ages. So if you have younger people in your family who like jazz, they're allowed to go. And there is beer and food next door. It's going to be the Brad Gregory Sextet plays the music of Rob Scheps. So I'll be in the sextet, 3 of us playing various saxophones and woodwinds, myself, David Shale, and Brad Gregory, Roger Wilder on piano, Sebastian Arias on bass, and Jim Lauer on drums. And we're going to be playing all new original compositions of my own that we will be recording on St. Patrick's Day and the day after.
And Roger Wilder is someone that you kind of came up with in a way. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, not kind of came up with. I've known him since I was 15 years old. Roger Wilder and I met at the Eastman summer session for high school music students. And he was local in the Rochester area where Eastman is, and I probably went up there on a plane or something. And it was like a 6-week program, and he became my best friend at the program. And many years later, he became one of the 2 conduits that I had to meeting other jazz musicians in Kansas City, Todd Strait being the other one.
Great, great. You know, our listeners are artists of all sorts. Tell me a little bit about your path and your calling to be a jazz musician or a musician, and how you can translate some of what you've learned into advice for folks of all genres and mediums.
Well, there's a cliche, I'm going to say the word music rather than the word jazz, but that it chooses you. You don't choose it. I've always been really good at this. I've been buying my own records since I was 6 years old, knowing what I wanted to buy. You know, Elton John, The Temptations, whatever it was. And for better or worse, this is the career path that I've been on my whole adult life. Playing music for a living. I compose and I teach and I write, but those 3 things probably comprise no more than 15% of my active time and my income. I mean, it's 85 to 90% performance, or it was before the pandemic. It's coming back a little bit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What advice do you have to folks who are artists of all sorts?
Don't do it. You know, the cliche of the dad saying, you got to have something to fall back on. You got to have a day job. That's actually the voice of wisdom. But what I'll tell musicians, you know, earnestly without any sarcasm, is if you're really going to do it, I mean, it goes without saying you want to do it well, but the best piece of advice I can give you is be versatile. So if you're a saxophonist and your doubles are good, your flute playing, your clarinet playing, there's some more work. You play piccolo, there's some more work. You can play in a Latin band or a symphony orchestra, that opens up more work. I had a bassoonist in my woodwind quintet in New York City, and Bobby, his double was church organ. So he made money playing organ in churches and playing the bassoon. So if you can copy charts, if you can arrange them, any of these musical skills makes a career that will pay the bills more likely, more viable. Versatility is the key, particularly in this, you know, charred earth age that we're in with horrible government and a tough music business.
As a softball question, what's something you love about Kansas City, musical or not?
I love a lot of things about Kansas City. I'll be succinct. The fountains are nice, but that's kind of a tourist thing. The food is great. The barbecue is top notch. It's the yardstick by which I unfairly judge all out-of-state barbecue. So if I'm in Oklahoma or, in Portland or in New York, somebody wants me to try barbecue, I'm pretty reluctant And sometimes it's really good, but Kansas City is the standard. But other kinds of food are incredible in this town. The best pie shop I know in America is Ashley's Pie Shop in the basement of Pride's in Westport. She makes the best pies. And the best fried chicken I've ever had in my life, Kevin, is out in Abilene. Used to be called the Brookville Hotel before COVID. Now I think if you look it up, you've got to look under Kansas Legacy, but it's the same place, and thank God it's the same fried chicken. But I will time a trip across the United States to go through Abilene and Salina on the right day to make sure that I get to the Brookville. So part of the wisdom of traveling, whether you're a musician like me or just a person who travels a lot for other reasons, is, I heard that if you asked Woody Herman, you told him any town or city in America, he would immediately tell you where to eat. And I try to do something like that also. I was an elite food reviewer on Yelp for a few years, and I take it kind of seriously. And so if I'm in a town where I don't know anybody, like here in Emporia, you and I get the joy of eating together, and I don't have to figure out where the good food is. But just the other days in Pratt, Kansas, and Newton, Kansas, I had to get online and figure it out for myself. But the Brookville is the kind of place that I've gone there for a long time. I love the food, and so it's a planned stop on my route if I can.
Where did you eat today?
Where did I eat today? Well, we went to a Mexican restaurant you really like, but they're closed for 2 weeks for renovations. So we ate at Ramos.
Casa
Ramos. Yeah, and it was quite good. And I think I can say this without being politically incorrect. When you have a large Hispanic population and a big chunk of it is Mexican, you're probably going to have some really good Mexican restaurants in your town. And that seems to be the case here in Emporia.
Yes. As one closing question, I'll give you the desert island question, which is there's probably a lot of non-jazz listeners. If you were going to suggest 3 to 10 albums they should check out to start their journey, what would you suggest?
For a neophyte, a new jazz listener who knows nothing?
Yes.
Miles Davis, Kind of Blue, and Milestones, and Miles Smiles, and In a Silent Way. All 4 of those. Coltrane, I'd have to recommend for beginners, Blue Train and Giant Steps. And when they get a little deeper into it, A Love Supreme, which actually just turned 60, I think, last month or this month. Outside of the 2 of them, Duke Ellington's Such Sweet Thunder, which is his suite where all the pieces are related to Shakespearean characters. That's my favorite Duke Ellington record. And I don't know, maybe for singers or for people who only feel comfortable broaching the subject of music via singers, almost anything Frank Sinatra did in the 50s and 60s, and with Ella Fitzgerald, the Cole Porter songbook and the Richard Rodgers songbook. And that's probably roughly 10.
Excellent. Thank you so much, and thanks for being here with me today.
My pleasure, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
The ESU Visiting Writers Series podcast is hosted by Kevin Rabas and made possible by the Emporia State University Creative Writing Program. Episodes are recorded and produced in the Donald Reichardt Center for Publishing and Literary Arts. You can learn more about us at emporia.edu/creativewriting or find us on Facebook and Instagram at ESU Creative Writing.